Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you a preview of the GPS interface module in Fleetsoft version 11. So the GPS interface module is a subscription from Fleetsoft, and what we do is we pull all the GPS data from the providers, and we gather it and filter it down and store it in our cloud system, where we maintain all the latest API information for all the different providers. It's a much more efficient way to gather the data and to store the data, and it's much more efficient for your Fleetsoft database, so that it doesn't get all the random constant data that's coming through. We just try to filter it down to just the relevant data and give you the updates you need for Fleetsoft to keep your mileage up to date, to find out where the current location of your vehicles are, as well as to find out if there are any check engine lights on and what the trouble codes are. And in the case of some providers, if you're doing inspections, we can get any defects that are reported by the driver, and those will turn into reported problems that can be addressed in Fleetsoft. So once you have a subscription with Fleetsoft, we'll give you a username and a password, and you can come into your global settings here and turn on this mobile web interface, which is also the GPS interface. You just put in your username and password here, save it, and it will automatically start downloading in the background to your server. So you will need to also set up the interface for each one of your providers, and you can do that under the GPS interface settings. Um, right now we have support for Synovia, Forward Thinking, Zonar systems, and we're including Navistar on-command connection. If you have any other types of providers that we don't have, just let us know. As long as they have an API or some way for us to integrate the data through a web service, we will add that to our system, and then you can start your subscription with us. So once you have that information in, they usually give you a username and a password or some type of unique identifier that you'll need to identify and to connect with your GPS data through your provider. So you put that into our GPS interface settings and download a list of all your GPS vehicles. So once you set up the GPS vehicles that you want, you should have some type of vehicle name, maybe which matches our vehicle code, or a VIN number, which we will match with our VIN. And they usually have some type of unique GPS ID as well. And so we'll use those three pieces of information to match it back to the vehicles in your Fleetsoft vehicle database. So you can have one vehicle, two vehicle, 10, 100 vehicles, however many you decide to purchase. You can have that integrated with your Fleetsoft software. So once you have all that set up, again, you get the username and the password from us. You put in your GPS provider IDs, company, unique IDs. Download your GPS vehicles and choose the ones that you want to integrate with. You'll have that set up, and now what you can do then is through Fleetsoft start seeing some of that data. For example, in your vehicle list, you can set up obviously your vehicle code to match the vehicle name, or a VIN number, or even a GPS ID. One of those to match with the data you're integrating from a GPS provider. And you'll see over here on the right, you can check out, for example, the GPS locations for that particular vehicle. And so here's some of that GPS data that's been coming in, the most recent at the top. If you click on the hyperlink here for the latitude and longitude, it'll even open up your web browser to that spot in Google Maps, so you can kind of see where it is. There's no mapping right now in Fleetsoft. If you want to get more mapping and routing, we would suggest you just use your provider's mapping interface for that. It would be the most robust. But you can see easily in Fleetsoft here, where it currently is, as last reported by the Fleetsoft integration module, usually within a half hour to an hour. So you have that. Also the current fault codes for that vehicle, and you'll kind of get a sense here about where it came from, what the codes are, and the description, as well as if it's a check engine or if some of the other lights are on or off. So you can do that for each vehicle you have in the system here, and check out if what they have as far as their latest GPS location and the latest fault code information, if any. And as the GPS data comes in, you'll also get updates for your meter 1 and meter 2 based on the current odometer and the engine hours coming from your GPS integrated data. So for example, if you open up the vehicle record, you can see how under the meter readings tab we have each day the latest mileage and engine hour reading for that day. So this will keep your PM schedule updated um, and your miles updated without having to enter it every day. And so that's it from the vehicle list. You can also just open up from this GPS interface button. You can see all the latest GPS vehicles and the current location of each. So this would be all the ones you have currently subscribed for, um, and you can get idea here by just clicking on, if you find one, you can click on the location, have it open up to find out where it is. So this is all from right within Fleetsoft here. You can get it kind of all in one quick spot. You can also look at all the fault codes at once. Just click on the fault codes button, and that'll bring open a screen with all the fault codes that were downloaded from the interface and any other information that goes along with that. So you'll be able to filter these too based on if the check engine light's on or off, or other lighting parameters, to kind of really dial in just the data that you want to see and not every single fault code. Sometimes there's a lot of chatter coming through there that you don't need, so you can dial it in to get just the most important things, and you can see it all from right within Fleetsoft. So one of the important things to be able to do is when you're doing a work order is to be able to see if there's any fault codes for that vehicle. So for example, if we create a work order for it, just put one in there first, we can see here there's a new fault codes button on the work order, and this way it'll check for this particular vehicle if there's any fault codes, and for this one you can see there is. And so from here you can make decisions about how you're going to address it on the work order, if you're going to acknowledge it or not. If you don't want to see it again, you can say you've acknowledged it, or if you want to connect to other information such as on-command connection and find out what are some of the prescribed ways to handle this fault code, or what to do about the repair. And then of course you can continue filling out your work order, and add your services or parts needed for that. So that is the main part of the integration. So that's all for now with the GPS and diagnostic code integration module. Please stay tuned for more videos about the new features in Fleetsoft version 11.